Hello, everyone. So today, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do, is we're going to go through, and I ranked every single mission in Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, here's how it works. I use a scoring system. Gameplay out of 15. Obviously, gameplay for a video game, most important part. Number 2, emotion. For me, that's the second most important part. If you don't have any kind of emotional feeling from the mission, that's probably not a very fun or important mission. Next one, out of 10, not as important, story impact. It could be a really amazing mission, but it has no purpose in the grand scheme of the overall story. It's not probably the best mission. Next one out of 10, mission design. This is kind of as a whole bunch of things. It's more about the pacing of a mission, the feel of a mission, how cinematic the mission is, and how well designed it all is. That one's out of 10. Number 5, unique. Obviously, in this game, when you get to the point, a lot of the missions are just going to be go here, shoot this person. So if you have a mission that's different than that, that's something that you don't do or you don't see for the rest of the game, that's going to get a higher score. And I think that is important for some missions. Next, out of 5, characters. This is kind of a combination of two things. One is about which characters are in the missions. Like, are these characters fun? Do we like them? But also, do the characters grow? Is there character development in these missions? Last category, atmosphere. That's just overall vibe, basically. If it looks cool and feels awesome and cool and interesting and looks nice, that's going to get a better score there. And it's going to be out of a total of 65. So, there are 93 main story missions. I'm only doing main story missions. Now, number 93. Friends in Very Low Places. This is the worst mission in the game by far. Just look at these scores. Like, they're terrible. They're terrible. And this is the mission where you basically go in, Trelawney just starts singing with this girl, you gotta come and sneak. It's just a horrible mission. Worst mission in the game by far. I'm gonna try and go through these as quick as I can. It's 93 of these, might be a long video. Next, The Joys of Civilization. This was a bit better because, at least there's some emotional impact because, you hate these freaking kids and it isn't actually important to the story. But again, there's not much to it. You kind of just have to run after a stupid kid that you'll never catch. 91, Who is Not Without Sin? This mission is basically just fuck around with Reverend Swanson, and there's not really much to it. There's not much to it at all, sadly. Number 90, Home Improvement for Beginners. Now, this one's so low just because, you don't really do anything. You basically pull down the house. So that's the reason there's nothing to it. But as you can see, it does have a good emotion score because you are starting to build this home. So it does have some good feeling to it, but it's just not much happens. 89, Gainful Employment. Again, you just kind of go with Sadie, you do random stuff. It's kind of a generic, boring mission. Not much happens. 88, Aftermath Genesis. This is the second mission you can do in the game. You hunt deer. It's basically a tutorial mission. So not much really happens, but you do get introduced to some characters, which is nice. 87, Simple Pleasures. This one, again, it's very unique, which helps it a lot, but it's not very fun. That's the problem. 86, Eastward Bound. Again, you're just driving. But the emotion is high on this one, so you do have a good emotion score there because the characters are good. You're feeling stuff because you're leaving the mountains, so it does feel good, but the gameplay is just so terrible. 85, Fatherhood for Beginners. This is the one where you basically have to mess around with Jack. You go and you do a horse race with him or something. Of course, you're never going to let him win. You're always going to kick his ass. But you do have some emotion. You're working with Jack. You're trying to become a better father. So it does have some good stuff. But again, a lot of these early missions suffer from the lack of gameplay. 84, Savagery Unleashed. This one where you're stuck in a chair and then you have to... And I hate when missions do this, where you're forced to sneak around quietly. And if you don't sneak around quietly, then you fail the mission. Except at the end of the mission, you just end up alerting everyone anyways. Stupid gameplay. There is a bit more emotional, you're capturing all that stuff, but overall, you don't know any of the characters. It doesn't really have any impact on the story, so it's not really good overall. 83. Now, this next one I actually thought would be the lowest ranked when I initially thought of this idea, because this is the mission that made me do this idea. That's Country Pursuits. It's the one where you're just walking around the fucking water. looking for a damn crocodile. God, I hate this mission so much. But it does have some emotion. It does have very good atmosphere, which is really good. And it's not the worst design mission. Like, obviously, it's not great, but it's not the worst. And you have some good characters in there. But obviously, there's no story impact either. 82. Really Big Bastards. This is one where you just have to... You basically just follow a trail until you run into a bear in the woods. And not much really happens. It's some fun gameplay. You know, you have to actually fight the bear a little. But it's like, overall, not the greatest thing of all time. 81. Farming for Beginners. You'll notice a lot of the epilogue is going to be at the lower bottom tier. But that's part of the design of the game. So while it's not really going to give these missions a higher score, I understand why it's like that. But this one, the gameplay actually kind of funny. You know, you actually have to think about what you're doing a little bit. So I actually had a fun time doing it. But overall, yeah, not the best thing ever. Number 80. The First Shall Be Last. Now, this mission personally drives me insane because there's so much time of just doing nothing. There's no flexibility at all. Like, you just have to basically follow a line, and then all of a sudden, then you fight people. It's just not well designed at all. But it does have an important story impact. 79, Trying Again. This is, of course, where you take Jack to the water, and I believe this is where your dog gets bitten by a snake. You have to help suck at the venom stuff. Obviously, a high emotion, but not really good in very many other categories. 78, Home of Gentry. This mission, the only reason it's so high is because it has a high emotion score. You just bought the land, and all you do is you tell these guys to fuck off, and that's all you do in the whole mission. But you also meet Uncle and stuff, so it's pretty good overall, but it's just not good gameplay. 77, Motherhood. Similar thing. It's good mission design, but not very many other categories hit very high with this one, unfortunately. 76, Old Habits. Again, these early epilogue missions also suffer the fact that they're really short, so you can't really have a lot of time for good gameplay, but I do like the story. The story impact's pretty good, and there's a good emotional aspect to it. 75, this next one's probably a lot of people's least favorite mission. The Gilded Cage, where you're just at the stupid party, and you do nothing. But it is very important for the story. I liked a lot of the characters, and you do have some emotion to it. So I don't mind this mission as much as other people, but obviously gameplay is terrible. 74, Magicians for Sport. This one personally annoys me because you have to go find these guys. They run into the fields, and it's just kind of annoying. It's like you have to go kill these guys, but at the same time, you have to do it in the way Rockstar wants. It's just very, very confusing. 73, Honor Amongst Thieves. This one where you just have to go into the camp and find the medicine. The gameplay is a bit better because he does give you some choices, but it's not a lot of depth to it. So that's why it's not very high in the gameplay. 72, Horseflesh for Dinner. This one, again, you don't really do very much. The gameplay is a bit better, but overall, could have been a lot better for me. 71, Polite Society Valentine Style. This one is really good for story impact. You're introduced to all these characters. You're introduced to a lot of these people. But a lot of the missions just kind of stand here, watch this, chase this. It's not very good gameplay in my mind. 70, Bare Knuckle Friendship. Again, these epilogue missions will get higher ratings just because they'll have higher emotions, but a lot of the gameplay is just not good. 69, Rage Unleashed. You gotta sneak onto the boat. Again, there's just a lot of not doing very much for most of the mission, and even when you get to the point where you can do something, it's short. So, not my favorite. Number 68, Further Questions of Female Suffrage. This is the one where you and Sadie talk about the Mr. Pearson's letter. But overall, the missions mostly just drive here and then shoot a couple people, so it's not very good in that regard. 67, Paying a Social Call. The reason this one's kind of lower is there's not much story impact, not much emotion. You basically follow me to this place and shoot all these people. But you do have some good moments with some characters, so it does get some points in that one. 66, An American Pastoral Scene. Everyone knows this mission. You just gotta get crashed on the river for some reason. It's the kind of mission where it's you rob something. Oh, but of course it goes wrong, and of course I have to shoot people. It's just it's not very well liked in that regard for me. But at least you get to shoot people. There's a little bit of variety, but yeah, it could have been a little bit better. Now the next one, the totals were in red here. These are the missions that I don't think are very good. The next score is going to start the section of missions I think are decent missions. And that's number 65. An Honest Day's Labors. This is when you go back to the New Austin, the Red Dead, the RDR1 map, sort of. You go into that little canyon with Sadie. This one's good because they actually have some variety in the shooting a little bit, which I like. But obviously, there's no story impact here. That really brings this one down. 64, American Fathers. This would be higher if you actually were able to sneak into the facility and get the notes or whatever you need from Danbury. But you have to do exactly the way Rockstar wants. That definitely takes down the mission design and gameplay for sure. 63, Enter Pursued by Memory. Again, very early mission, very tutorial heavy, very walk here, do this. But obviously, story impact, motion, characters really brings this one up. 62, Quick Favor for an Old Friend. Again, it's just a Sadie mission, basically, not much story impact, but at least it's fun gameplay. You actually get to go, there's some variety in it, which helps it a lot. But overall, a lot like the minor categories, this one does not do very well in. 61, Dear Uncle Tacitus. Yeah, Tacitus. Well, whatever, good enough. This one, you just come back from the island, and you have to find out where the camp is. Really, you have to sneak around 3 or 4 people or kill them if you want. So there's not much in their gameplay, but obviously the emotion is very high in this one. You just came back from the island, so that's why this one's so high. 60, Enter Pursued by Bruised Ego. This is when you go hunting with Hosea, and you find the legendary bear. And it's just kind of... This one's higher up mostly because it's kind of middling for every single category except for the characters and atmosphere. So that's the only way it brings up, but it's kind of like middle of the road. But it's okay. 59, Old Friends. This is when you go... It's like your first big gunfight sequence. So that's why the gameplay is a little higher. You have a lot of the rest of the gang with you here. But that's kind of the only thing that brings it up, really. 58, A Bridge to Nowhere. This is a classic example of horrendous gameplay. I hate the gameplay of this. This is one of the worst missions in terms of gameplay, but the emotion, the story impact is so high that it really brings it up. So this one's almost higher more for the cutscenes than anything else. 57, Icarus and Friends. It's really interesting, really unique, but again, the gameplay is more like just hold a button and look at the pretty things. So it's not the greatest, but the characters are fun. 56, Americans at Rest. This one's actually a pretty important one overall in terms of the story because you meet... I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that gives you TV. You meet him. You have a little bit of fun stuff. It's pretty unique. So this one's not a bad one for introducing you something new. 55, A New Future Imagined. This is where you're on the date. Obviously, gameplay is terrible, but the emotion's fun. I actually like how it's designed. 54, The Wheel. This is the first mission in the epilogue. So that's why it's so much higher. It's because it had a high emotion. You're just coming from watching Arthur die. So that's why this one's a bit higher. And I don't think it's a horrible design in terms of your first mission from Arthur's death. It's well designed in that regard. 53, American Distillation. This is where you go into the swamps and you have to get the alcohol. That's fun gameplay because it has stealth and action all in one. So that one helps this a little bit, but obviously you can see story impact and emotion is very, very little. 52, Money Lending and Other Sins. Obviously, we all know why this one's so high because of the story impact. We obviously know what happens here. 51, No, No, and Thrice No. This one you go with Grimshaw to help Tilly. But I'll be honest, I'm not like... It's just kind of whatever. It's another classic example of ride here and shoot these people. Not very unique in my mind. 50, The Spines of America. This is when you work with Hosea and this guy to break into that farmer's house. Which, it's nice that it gives you different ways to do it. So that's why the gameplay is a bit higher. It does give you some options and variety. 49, The Toolbox. Go get the tools, but of course, something's got to go wrong. But the gameplay there is actually kind of fun. I don't mind the gameplay there. 48, Delights of Van Horn. This one's higher just because of, I don't know, I guess the cutscenes. It's kind of just there because it's overall, it's like a standard mission. I would say a standard good mission. 47, A Kind of Benevolent Despot. Gameplay could be a lot better because there's a lot of just slowly walking. Obviously, the emotion, the story impact are fairly high in this, and that's why it gets so high up. 46, Angelo Bronte, A Man of Honor. I kind of hate the mission. I kind of hate the mission design in this one, where you go into like the the graveyard and it's like dark and everything. But once you're there and the action kind of happens, I don't mind the gameplay as much. But obviously the emotions are very high. You just met this guy. 45. Sodom back to Gomorrah. This is where you go back to Valentine to rob the bank. It's okay. It might at least gives you some variety and choices, so that's why it's kind of in the middle of the road. 44. Welcome to the New World. Obviously gameplay is whatever. It does have... I don't mind the gameplay as much, but it's okay. But obviously the emotion is very high in this one. That's why it's so high up in the ranking. 43, the Battle of Shady Belle. This one's really high up in emotion because obviously the cutscenes, but the gameplay is not crazy. You go into Shady Belle and you kill a couple people with John, I think. You dispose of the bodies. So it's okay for gameplay, not the greatest, but obviously story impact and emotion is very high in this one. 42, Find Joys of Tobacco. Obviously, I hate the beginning of the mission where you have to just sit there in the stupid cart. But once you're out of it, it's okay, I guess. Again, this was another example of kind of middle of the road. 41, Advertising a New American Art. This is obviously classic Fenton. This one, I really like the gameplay and how it's designed because you have a lot of different types of style of gameplay in this mission. That's why this one gets so high. 40, Quiet Time. Lenny! This mission doesn't have great gameplay, but obviously it's a very fun in terms of the emotional impact of it. And it's very unique. 39, The King's Son. Break into this place. The gameplay is okay. I don't like some of the mandatory sneaking around all the time, but it's not too bad. It has good atmosphere. And I'd say it has some good emotion as well. 38, Fine Art of Conversation. This was why this one's so high. The emotional impact. That's what brings it up so high. This cutscene is so devastating every time to watch. 37. Preaching Forgiveness as you went. This is when you and Lenny go and fight Shady Belle. I don't know. There's not much to it. It's just a fun little gameplay mission because there's a lot of people to shoot. Basically, that's why it's so high up. 36. The New South. Again, gameplay in this one's not great because this is the one where you're like on top of the train fighting those two guys. That's not good, but the good part of this mission is the optional part where you go fishing with Jose and Dutch. That's what brings this one so high. If it wasn't for this one would be much, much lower. 35. Fisher of Men. This one's going to be controversial because obviously you don't do very much. You kind of just mess around. You just hang out with young Jack and fish. But the emotion and story impact is very good and very high in this one. That's why it's so high. 34. We Loved Once and True. This is the classic turtle formation. The gameplay is not the best in this one, but I do like the emotion. The story impact, I might have put the story impact a little too high in this one, but I do think it is important overall for Arthur. So this was also another one that's kind of middle of the road in terms of every category, and that's why it's high. Now we're going to bump up into the next section of missions. These are missions that I think are good missions. These ones were decent. Now we're going to good quality missions. 33, Strange Kindness. This is where you and Charles have to find a new campsite and you eat these German families. Obviously, they become very important later on in the game, helping Arthur, so that's why the story impact's so high. 32, Outlaws from the West. Very early mission. Story impact, obviously very good. The emotion's very high. The atmosphere is amazing. Characters are great. So a lot of the subcategories or secondary categories boost this one up quite a lot. 31, Goodbye, Dear Friend. I think the gameplay could be a lot better. You don't really do as much as you would think in this one, but obviously the emotion is very high in this one. That's why this one gets so high. 30, that's Murphy Country. This when you go to Beaver Hollow and then obviously Molly gets murdered by Grimshaw. The mission is actually kind of fun. You have to go with Charles. You have a little bit of time going up there with Charles, and you have to stuff in the caves. I actually like this one a little bit like that. This gameplay's pretty good in this one. 29, Pouring Forth Oil. This is a classic one, but I don't think the gameplay is... The gameplay is obviously good, but it's not amazing. It could have been better, but I love the mission design and the atmosphere is amazing. And of course, I love the reference to the assassination of Jesse James. 28, controversial one, Fork in the Road. Gameplay is terrible, but obviously the emotion, the story impact is all very good. So this one is borderline cutscene one, but it's such a good, important part of the story that that's why it's ranked so high. 27, A Fine Night of Debauchery. This one, I like the gameplay a lot because there's a lot of variety to it. And, I don't know. I have fun with it. It's a very unique mission, I feel. Sorry about that. 26. Blessed are the meek. The mission everyone wishes we could skip. But sadly, no, we have to free Micah. But I think the gameplay is kind of fun. Obviously, story impact, we all know how important that is. 25. Miss Sadie Adler Widow. This one, I like the gameplay. The layout of the combat is really good. And obviously, the emotion is very, very high in this. Obviously, it doesn't really matter for the story. It's almost like a bonus mission. But the emotion is very high in this one. I really like Sadie as a character. 24. Controversial one again. Building a house. Emotion very high. Gameplay, some people love it, some people hate it. But, you know, I think it's a perfectly designed mission. I think it's basically the perfect mission for the time it happens in the game. 23, Hell Hath No Fury. The emotion is not really there. It could have been better. Gameplay, I think it's decent gameplay, though. And the mission design is okay. Basically, this one is, instead of middle of the road in all the categories, it's slightly higher. That's why it's where it is. 22, Fatherhood for Idiots. Obviously, the gameplay is not the greatest, but I love how it's designed, and I love the impact. Like, the emotional side of this mission is very, very good. That's why it's so high. 21, Just a Social Call. We all know this one. You go and kill Cornwall. And as the player, you're kind of like, what the hell is going on? The gameplay might have been slightly high. Maybe I could have bumped it down a little bit. But I do like the mission overall. 22, Paradise Mercifully Departed. Last mission on the island. A lot of emotion. You're very happy to get out of there. Gameplay may have also been a little too high, but I'm happy with where it is. Number 19, Urban Pleasures. You're like, oh crap, Bronte screwed us over and we have to go through the city in the trolley. Obviously, the emotion is pretty high in this one. Characters are good, gameplay is good. I like this one as well. 18, Fleeting Joy is when you come back to the camp and then you're getting attacked by the Pinkertons and you and Sadie have to go and save the gang. The gameplay is not very long, but the gameplay that's there is very well designed, I feel. 17, Who the Hell is Leviticus Cornwall? This is like the first major mission in the game. You rob the train. Story impact's very good. I like the mission design. Gameplay is good. Could have been a little bit better possibly, but I think this is good overall. And now we're going to get to the top 16. Every one of these missions, the top 16, are great, amazing missions. 16. Personal. This next mission, I feel I like more than most people. 16. Uncle's Bad Day. I like the gameplay. The emotion's very good. Story impact's not as good, but I love the mission design and the atmosphere of it, having to save Uncle. Very good. 15, Our Best Selves. You rob the train, you get to go on the Gatling gun, and then obviously John gets shot and left behind. Another classic mission. 14, Favored Sons. Gameplay is really good, but the emotion, story impact, mission design, it's just all really, really good in all categories. It's not perfect or amazing in every category, but it's really good in all categories, which boosts it so high. 13, Jim Milton Rides Again. This one's just a classic mission. Classic mission. You've had so long not having that joy of shooting and gameplay, and then it gives it to you right here, and you get this iconic moment where it recreates the cover of the first game. Oh, perfect. Number 12, Horseman Apocalypse. Poor Kieran gets killed, but then you have to defend Shady Belle, and I think this little fortress defense section is pretty good. Alright, number 11. Revenge is a dish best eaten. You gotta go in and assault Angela Bronte's mansion. God, that's so much fun. The emotion is very high. Just a classic mission. Now we're gonna get into the top 10. Number 10. Sheep and the Goats. Controversial one again, because the first half of the mission sucks. You're just herding goats, but it's designed that way because it's so boring. Oh my god, what's happening? And it's surprising when it leads into this amazing moment where you're getting surprised by Cornwall. So, story impact's really good, it's very well designed, and the gameplay in the second half is very good. Number 9, Visiting Hours. You save John. I do like the variety of gameplay here. You can snipe, you can have this guy hostage. There's a good variety. I like this one a lot. And of course, story impact's very good. Number 8, short walk in a pretty town. It's not as high for gameplay because it is so short, but how it's designed and the impact of the story and the emotion is so high. That's why it's number 8. Number 7, Blessed are the Peacemakers. Gameplay, maybe I bumped it a little too high, but the emotion of it and the mission design and the characters boost this one up so high. Number 6, another mission that's one of my personal favorites that I think I like more than most. An honest mistake. This is when Uncle's like, I got a great, perfect plan. And you do it, of course, it falls apart. You have to hide in this little farmhouse and you get ambushed. Oh, this one's just so good. The emotion's so high, so well designed. Now we're getting to the top 5. Number 5, My Last Boy. This is when you assault the oil factory, and then you have that classic moment where Dutch abandons you and leaves you for dead. Another classic game, and I love how you have all these characters in here and these epic moments. Number 4, Banking and Old American Art. Gameplay, it has a lot of variety, which I like, and obviously the emotional and story impact, mission design, everything else about this is like top tier. Number 3, Blood Feuds, Ancient and Modern. Again, this one could have been higher in gameplay if it was slightly longer, but everything else about it is so iconic and perfect. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption, the last mission. The gameplay has a little bit of just like, run around, do whatever, but there's so much variety. Obviously, the emotion, the impact is so high. Oh, it's so good. But obviously, it's not the best mission. The number 1 mission, with a score of 64 out of 65, nearly the perfect mission. The last mission in the game, American Venom. God, this mission's so iconic. When you have that music going, when you talk to these 3 guys, and you just start massacring, oh, it's so perfect. The only reason it's not a perfect mission is that it's not the most unique. It's simply just shoot these people. But everything else about it is perfect. It's like the perfect way to end it. Now, that's my list for the greatest missions of Red Dead and all the missions ranked. Let me know what you think. Did I get something wrong? Do you disagree with me in any way? But this is what I think. These are my rankings. This is my score system. Thank you very much for watching.